If this is your first time in the AM Power Call, we do this Monday through Fridays, and it's a great source to get your personal development in. We teach leadership, skill sets, strategies, and how to run your day, and so much more happen in AM Powers. And we have all different types of speakers. You have so for those of you that want to participate in the future, you get yourself to Admiral and above, and we will put you in the queue if you want to start training in this course and have some value to give. We're very, very excited. So welcome, everybody. Super happy to be here, every single one of you. I see here. Hey, how's it going? Tanya, how you doing? Jana, Camila, how are you? Hey, Daniel. Hey, Howard, how are you? The chat is open, so thank you very much, guys. And welcome, everybody. So I want to tell you a story, which the video is going to come out soon, so might as well just say it. But I want this; it's going to tie it into my what I'm here to talk about, because we're going to talk about leadership and some of the things that I've learned in my experience, and some interesting experience too at that, because there was a time in my life where I explained this to you guys before, and for those of you that haven't heard the story, I started in the industry of network marketing literally when I was 16 years old. I walked into my parents' house. I got out of school. There was a lady drawing circles in a whiteboard showing my parents the first network marketing presentation. My parent loved it, and I sat down. She was just starting her presentation, so I sat down and watched the entire presentation, and it just called me. I was attracted to it. I was like, wait a minute, you're telling me? And I remember she painted a picture of making 10,000 a month. She said, "You telling me that I can make $10,000 a month and I don't have to go to college?" I was like, "That's crazy," because the only thing I knew how to make money was my parents told me, "Hey, go to school, get a great education, so you can go out there and get a job." A high paying job, a professional job. So that was my mindset. But for the first time, I learned about building distributions. I learned about building distribution points and building leadership and building teams of people out there to do this. And I got really, really excited about the concept. So excited that I bothered my mother so much to pull me out of school. I'll say, Mom, I don't need to go to school anymore. I know what I want. I don't need to go anymore. So essentially, she ended up doing that after a year of me bugging her, and I got started doing network marketing ever since. And it was and I had my goals and I had my things, and I started showing up to events, and I was doing presentations, I was getting customers, I was doing the deed. However, because of my background, because of where I come from, because of my programming that I had, I was not. It took me some time, because I had to build my influence. I had to build my self-esteem. I had to build myself, and it took me a while. And what ended up happening, 13 years passed by. 13 years. In those 13 years, I probably made about $2,000 in 13 years in network marketing. So, uh, you know, and I was involved in three different companies in those 13 years. And the question is, how many people would have done that? How many people would have said, "Hey, maybe this industry is not for you, David"? That would have. It's possible that eventually my family was like, "Hey, David, I think it's time. I think it's time to call it a night." You did it 13 years, and in my 13th year, I found a unique opportunity. It was a company just like this one, expanding into North America. We had a great product system. It was a product that was really creating a difference in people's lives. So I gravitated towards it, and I started applying some of the principles that I've learned during those 13 years. And in the 13th year, I made seven figures that year. Imagine $2,500 in 13 years. And in my last year, at 13, so $2,500 in 12 years, really. In my 13th year, I made $1 million. So you can imagine, I was like, it was like, woo, incredible. And in that opportunity, we ended up I ended up making $7 million in a span of 5 years. And it was incredible. However, this is where the story plot twist. Here it comes. I lost it all. I lost it all because no one taught me the principles that govern money. I knew personal development. I knew how to build myself. I knew how to produce. And there's a difference between production and then now explain. There's a difference in you being a producer and then being able to be a protector of your assets. Explain. Let me explain this to you. There's three stages of wealth to create wealth. Stage number one, you got to make money, and you want to make it in business. Because if you, my old mentor used to say, David, if you have a W-2, means you work twice as hard for half the pay. That's what he said. He said, so you got to make money in business. That's one. Now that you make the money, you got to keep it. You got to keep it. Just because you make it doesn't mean you get to keep it. Everybody's gonna come. You're gonna have you have people left and right borrowing money. It's fine. Some people need it. You have Uncle Sam coming knocking your door, say, "Hey, my favorite uncle's calling you. Hey, I need some money too." You got Uncle Sam coming your way. Then you have your own habits, which in my case, I have horrible habits, which I love spending money and I love buying things and buying things for people. And I was just like, yeah, how many do you want? How many colors does it come in? Just silliness that I was back in those days. So so now you got to make it, you got to keep it, and after you keep it, you have to grow it. And this is where your money now works for you. And after you follow those three stages, then you can start doing the things that you want to do afterwards. But keeping it, growing it, excuse me, making it, keeping it, growing it. Thank you, Heidi. That's the stages that you have to go. And what don't and there's a pipeline, right? Don't fall off in those three stages. Don't fall off. Some people make it to like halfway and they fall off and don't make it to the growth part. And today, obviously, there's plenty of financial education one can take. Here's the reason I tell you this. I tell you the story because during that time, I after I lost it, there was a time where for like a 2 year period where I went very spiritual. Brooke and I were really, and I believe everything happens for a reason. I believe God was really telling me some things, and he was allowing me to work on me. And I during those 2 years, I came closer to God during those 2 years. I was growing. I was questioning myself. My mind was like, David, are you an imposter? The imposter syndrome. I was like, did you get lucky the first time? You did it 13 years. It took you 13 years and then you did it. Was that luck? Did you just do one time out of luck? And so all these thoughts were coming out, and I was here observing my thoughts. This is key. Observing my thoughts, not identifying with my thoughts, because my mind wants to trick me to say, hey, David, you are the things that you do. That's not true. You are the things that you have done. That's not true either. You are that identity that you have acquire. No, that's not true either. I'm something else. If I'm looking at the I am. So my ego wants to get attached to all these things. And during those 2 years, it was such a blessing. It was such a wonderful thing. Eventually, we found a unique opportunity again, Brooke and and we did it. And this time I had a queen next to me, an incredible builder who we just got to work, and in that opportunity we got to 20,000 a week. We were making 25,000 a week, which was so there it is. We did it again. That opportunity lasted 4 years, and then the company shut down, closed down. They did some things they were not supposed to, and some things happened in the background that and now we find ourselves again, Brooke and I, in a place where we're just gonna think, hey, we're just gonna start a traditional business. And it was network marketing was a fun run. We made a lot of money and it was a great run. So here's what ended up happening. And this is where the story comes. So my mother ended up having cancer and brought me into a place where we hire a doctor named Dr. Sebi and his team. Some of you know who Dr. Sebi is, right? If you press a one in the chat, if you know who Dr. Sebi is. We hired his team, and we ended up helping my mother cancer go into remission by following the principles that he has taught us. From there, that inspired us to start looking at other companies. Me and Brooke had the conversation. Hey, listen, I want to get back into network marketing in the health and wellness. And we were looking for products that align with the principles that Dr. Sebi taught us. That took us to the desert of Hermosillo, Mexico, where we met Dr. Tony Rodriguez. And today, here's the story. Here we are. I tell you all this because I wanted to share with you that when it comes to the principles of wealth, when it comes to principles of building teams, there's a few things that can really uh, drag you and can it can slow you down. And I want to just share with you just a couple of things over the next 15 minutes. Just a few things that you can do that can truly change your life and it can truly help you in your business. Uh, well, for starters, there's as you're building a team, you're gonna find yourself in situations, right? And situations that come up. And when things come up, as a leader, you have to be principle number one is that leaders are solution oriented. You have to be solution oriented. Leaders never bring gasoline to fire. They bring water. And what happens is I sometimes I see leaders that they see a situation and over exaggerate a situation, or they make things a little worse than what it's supposed to. It is much easier to solve situations with a calm heart, a calm mind, than what it is. The situation is the situation. The situation still has to get handled. It is scientific proof that you can handle things better with less cortisol in your body. That is just scientific proof. I don't know if you can handle situations better that way. So when it comes to when it comes to leadership, when it comes to problem solving, remember when situations happen in your organization, you are either the leader is bringing a bucket of gasoline or you bringing a bucket of water. Are you a true leader stays calm, collected, and focused on solutions? And I want to ask you a question. Maybe not, maybe in your life, maybe in your job, maybe somewhere. But my question is, when was the last time I cooled a situation down with wisdom and you diffuse a situation? When was the last time you did that? Okay, ask a good question to ask yourself. Another principle of leadership is a great book called Extreme Ownership, where Jocko Willings, a Navy SEAL, talks about extreme ownership. Extreme ownership is the ability to take full responsibility for your business and for your life. And the good thing is that responsibility is one of my favorite words because I know what it means. In the beginning, when I first heard responsibility, I said, "Hey, you have to be responsible." I thought that responsibility meant that it was my fault, right? That I have, and I guess there's a certain area to that, but what the true word of responsibility, the true meaning is comes from two words: response and ability. In any given situation, I have the ability to respond. Leaders never blame, never play the game to blame. They play the game and they take full responsibility for everything that happens under their leadership, good or bad, everything that happens. I like to take accountability for everything. As I'm working here at Vital Health, I a lot of things I would say, hey, it's my fault. But when I say that, I can correct it. Ownership builds credibility, trust, and influence within your organization. When you start pushing things away, saying, "Hey, this is not my fault. This is not. This is I." The moment you start doing that, you cease to be the leader at that point. And in this business, the person that wins and person that wins at the highest levels are leaders. So when leaders take responsibility, they empower the team to do the same. They create a type of culture, a culture of accountability, and they create the right type of duplication. So ask yourself the question: am I modeling ownership within my organization? Another principle of leadership that I learned is that leaders focus on the majors. And the majors means that there are income producing activities and there are building business activities. Brooke and I were in the pool yesterday with the kids, and she started talking about business building activities. I was like, hey, that's interesting because building business activities are not income producing activities, but they look at the same. I mean, it's possible. And because they look the same, you think that maybe maybe that's what it is, but it's not. There's a difference between building building business activities, BBAs, and IPAs, income producing activities. Let's just, and I think it's important for us. Now they're both important, by the way, and they kind of feed on each other. But you have to understand that there's two different types, and they're and income producing activities. What is that? What does everything that creates volume and brings volume in the moment? So creating an exposure for the business, that's an income producing activity. Creating an exposure so you can acquire a product, a customer, right? That's a acquiring a customer. That's an income producing activity. I will even say income producing activity is and it can maybe fall into both categories, is promoting events and personally inviting and securing the attendance of the next event. We're going to have an incredible event in Anaheim, California. You have to be there. That's a key. That's going to be key for your success in business. It's November 1st and 2nd. Start making plans. Today I'll have the room block ready for everybody, and we'll have it posted at the latest by tomorrow. But this is it's incredible. It's an income. Nothing produces an income in your business at a highest level is when your team is attending these type of events, supporting your team and working in depth, right? So you're doing the presentations and helping them do presentation launches, three-way calls, men going down there in depth and driving depth and tap routing. That's again income producing activity. Then you have business building activities, BBAs. What is that? Well, lead generation, for example, that's a BBA. Prospecting, networking, adding new names to your list, that's BBA. Strengthening relationships, right? Staying connected with your people, and staying connected with people that calling up and checking up on people. Say, hey man, how you doing? I haven't heard from you in 3 months. How are things going? These are future prospects that I'm referring to. So all this is BBAs. Connecting with your leaders, people that are already in your business, and connecting with them. That's it. Building bonds and relationships and team calls. Personal development. This is a BBA too. Working on yourself. Duplicating and teaching the system, the 12 steps. Duplicating and teaching the 12 steps. These are BBAs, business building activities. So there's a difference between, again, a BBA and an IPA. And you have to know these things. But they all work together. And BBAs, yes, Kimberly, BBAs are so important because they feed the IPAs. It's like a workout, and there's pre-workout. There's a warm up, right? And then there's a workout. And so you got to get the warm up going, and the warm up feeds you always get a better workout when you warm up. I don't know if you go to the gym, you warm up. It's like I always warm up my rotator cuffs. I start doing light weights. By the time I'm nice and warm, by the time I get to my workout, I mean I am crushing that workout because of that. So, so you gotta, so you have to don't know the difference. I understand that. Hey, those two are important, and I'm gonna go ahead and post these notes, by the way, for you guys on the chat, because I'm reading off my notes. But I'm gonna post it on the WhatsApp chat, and you can have the notes for yourself. So, uh, the next thing is as you're focused on the majors. That's what leaders do. But the next thing is you got to master the 12 steps of success. The 12 steps of success is the foundation of business. Leaders look for foundation, and they look for the right duplication. The right duplication and happens by understanding the system that you're following, working the system, understanding, and you got to know it, you got to live it, and you got to teach it. So the 12 steps is key. So we have that is available on the Bourse app all over the place. We're gonna have a whole new training system and launch system that's gonna launch real soon. I mean, there's so much that's gonna be happening around the 12 steps. But for now, read the manual. Read this short manual. I'm not saying that because I wrote it. I'm saying that because it really works. That it's again 13 years of me doing the wrong thing, and eventually it all came together in my 13th year. And what proved it for me that works, because I was able to do it again two more times after I lost it, and I was able to do it again. Why? Because I knew the principles already. And it's like the equation, right? So if I let's say I make a recipe, I cook something, I put it in the oven, but the first time I leave it a little too long, right? That's gonna mess up my baking. And I'm not I don't know how to bake, by the way. Brooke is an incredible baker. She said if you ever come to our house, you're invited. Yes, make Brooke is incredible baker. She'll bake something. But if I do it, but if I do the same recipe over and then I the same recipe and this time I do it at the right timing, hey, that it's something beautiful, baked and delicious comes out. I don't know why I'm thinking that. I guess because she just gave me a baked little muffin. But here's my point. My point is, if I'm running, if 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 you're driving and I'm running towards you and the road and I'm full of blood and I'm telling you stop, the bridge is off. The bridge collapsed behind me. Are you gonna tell me, David, get out of the way and just keep driving? No, you're gonna be like, okay, I'll stop. This is me just letting you know a couple of things that could really ruin your business if you just or they can really advance your business if you honed in on it. And mastering the 12 steps is key. Here's the next thing: is 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 you got to put energy into builders. And I'm okay. This is I don't want to I don't want to offend anybody, but you got to put energy into builders, not complainers. I'm sorry. I gotta laugh. I just it would. Can I share something with you? I never had time. I don't have time to complain. I'm too busy. I'm too busy producing. And so so when you put energy into the builders, into these people. I'm gonna talk a little about my Latin team because my Latin team is huge. It's a big team. We got because obviously we started a lot sooner in the Latin team. So I get to see a lot more things happening, more situations, more people, right? More people, more dynamics, more personalities, more belief systems, all this coming together. And I have this individual that constantly calls me just complaining about other people. And I'm telling her, I'm gonna call her Mary. That's not her name. I'll say, hey Mary, you have so much potential, but you're too focused on what other people are doing. Focus on you winning. Focus on you making results for you and your family. So as a leader, you got to put your focus on builders, people that are building. So correct. So and essentially, yeah, coach is saying complaining is draining. It drains you. So essentially, I don't want you. I don't want you to get drained. I want you to say, hey, well, so when someone's coming to you consistently about complaining, hey, talk to your upline and get them to talk to them, and they'll be able to help them from that place. But you don't spend time. You spend time doing what? IPAs and BBAs. That's what you have to spend time. Okay. So um, here's another principle is that you can't win if you're not playing. Success requires action and visibility. Oh, this is great. Let me give it to you again. Success in network marketing requires action and visibility. You got to go out there and get yourself seen. And the opportunity can't find you. You have to go out there and do it. If you're hiding, it won't do it. So show up, play the game, and give yourself a chance to win. How do you do that? Well, there's so many different strategies out there that we can go. I mean, I can go red in the face telling you strategies. There's a strategy how to operate social media, how to create attraction marketing with your social media, how to go out there and do drip marketing within your social media, or maybe even how to text people and start connecting with people. You have to go out there and play the game. You cannot be sitting in the bleachers and just watching the game. You got to get out there and make it happen. Okay. Here's the next one. It's a leaders ask great questions, or should I say the right questions? I'm always asking: Is am I talking to the right prospect? This one question, for example. Sometimes some people are going out there and reaching out to people. They say, "Hi, David, I've reached out to 20 people," and maybe you're doing everything right. And if that's the case, is a possibility. It's very possible you're fishing in the wrong pond. You got to change your demographic. You got to know the avatar that you're looking for in your business. It's so key to do that too. That's why I don't believe in prejudging, but I do believe in pre-qualifying, and I look for mindset personally. I mean, I I recruit mindset. I teach skills. So if I have the right type of mindset, great. I teach skills, and even someone with an attitude. Give me someone with an attitude. That's even fine with me. But if you give me someone that's lazy, doesn't want to work, doesn't want to do anything, there's nothing I can do with that individual. But if you give me someone with an attitude, say, hey man, David, this person is difficult to work with, I can handle that. That part right there. But he or she is a workhorse and they know how to go out there and make it happen, show up. I can handle that part. That's just it. That's easy for that's easy solve right there in that one. But but someone is lazy, it's not really working. There's nothing that we can do with that person. So the right conversation with the wrong person is a waste of time. And the right conversation with the right person creates momentum. So you want to make sure that you're talking to the right person. You're talking going out there and recruiting the right people for your business. And good thing is that hey, when you're recruiting, you can choose who you want to work with. That's a beautiful thing about this business is that you can choose your people, and that to me is it's exciting, very 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 exciting to do that. So now, I understand that not everything is so black and white what I'm teaching right now, right? Not everybody's like, hey, David, there are some things that there's problems in the organization, they have to be addressed. They cannot be ignored. You got to address situations in your organization. That's very it's very valid to do that. I don't believe in running away from a situation. I believe like let's face it for what it is. Let's not make it worse than it is, but let's face it what it is and let's find a solution. And the solution always is, to me, the solution is this. We got to look at a situation is that you always got to come back to the mission and the values of the mission. And to me, is I wrote something down my notes the other day that I thought it was key. That it was because I'm here looking looking at the entire organization and I see people that lose focus and it's sad to see that because the opportunity is so it's so real. With the opportunity that we have in our hands is real, guys. There hasn't been a product like this, a product line like this in the marketplace for a long time, and I personally never experienced a product line that's creating this type of results for people's lives. So so if we're here, if we say we're here, we're here to support people. We're here to impact the life of others. If we say we're here to impact the life of others, shouldn't we make decisions to support that? That makes sense? If you're saying you're here to build a multi-million-dollar business and impact the lives of thousands, even hundreds of thousands, and maybe even million in some of your organizations, lives, a million lives will be impacted. That's what you want. Shouldn't we make decisions to support that mission? And sometimes that means uh, swallowing your ego, putting your ego aside. Sometimes that means learning new skills. Sometimes that means uh, forgiving. Sometimes that means forgiving yourself. Sometimes that means and numerous of things. Whatever it is that's in front of you that's stopping you from moving forward, that that's a decision you have to make that will help you realign yourself back to the mission and the vision of your life and the things that we're trying to do here, we want to do here. So, my friends, in closing, I share with you that we have something special. We are this is a blessed company. We're blessed people for being with this company, and we have the opportunity to impact the lives of so many people. But we got to keep the main thing the main thing. We got to keep and make decisions based on what we want, and what we want is to impact the lives of other people. Don't let anyone else rob you of this. Don't let someone else's decision rob you of this. Don't let someone else's opinion rob you of this. You got to go out there and you got to put one foot in front of the other and stay focused on the things that you want to accomplish within your life, and the impact that is going to come from that is going to be blessed. And you're going to bless thousands of people, my friends. And maybe, like I said, maybe some of you, a million people, you'll be blessed. You'll be blessing. The butterfly effect, you never know. Who would have known? Who would have known that this just a 16-year-old boy who's lost both his parents at the age of 16, and this is the result of it. How many people? have been impacted so far from a 16-year-old boy that lost both his parents. You just don't know. That's why it's almost like um, it, you just it's almost one of these things that you can you cannot put conditions on how God unfolds in your life and the plan of God's unfolding. You cannot put conditions. You cannot imagine Joseph, then the story of Joseph becoming second to the Pharaoh. Imagine all the process that he went through in order for him to get to becoming. Imagine he would say, "No, don't put me through that process. My conditions for me to be second and help and save the lives of millions would have been this, and that." Imagine that. That would have that's ridiculous if you think about it, right? That's ridiculous. But the entire process that he went through in order to for him to become second in command in Egypt to save millions of people's lives. Hey, you can't put conditions on God's unfolding. His blessings are there for you. And we're a blessed company. We're blessed people, guys. Thank you very much, guys. I love every single one of you. Have a great day. And let's go.